a used car salesman, you want JD Vance, right? I've been in business. If I ran a car dealership, he's the guy. So you get a slick politician versus a coach, dad, military veteran, and I think that really shined through. Tim Walz is who he is. I've known him for well over a decade. I served with him for 10 years in Congress. This is somebody who's authentic, right? He's not going to be slick. He's not going to be having shifty eyes like JD Vance. He told it. He spoke from the heart on issues that matter to him and really brought it home for the American people. Again, I think the ending was really the most important moment to me, because what's disqualifying to Donald Trump in the eyes of the vast majority of the American people is his inability to accept the free and fair vote of the American people. And unlike Mike Pence, who was honorable and accepted the result of the election, JD Vance did not distance himself from Donald Trump. So there's no one there to stand up to Donald Trump's worst instincts. And potentially a threat to our democracy itself. Tim Walz brought that home on issues that matter to the American people, saving people money, on groceries, on costs, on health care, on housing, on issue after issue. Tim Walz put out his detailed plans of Kamala Harris. JD Vance tried to imitate those plans, but he didn't really speak to his boss, because many of that stuff is not what Donald Trump stands for.
This was an overwhelming, dominating performance by JD Vance. I think the American people, he spoke directly to them about issues that matter. The immigration crisis, illegal immigration crisis caused by Kamala Harris as Joe Biden's open border czar. The national security crises, as well as the economic crisis, the inflation that families are suffering from. And most importantly, JD Vance told his personal story, which is extraordinary. He relates directly to so many American families, what they are struggling with because of Kamala Harris's failures. So I think it was an overwhelming win, and I think you're going to see that with the response from the American people.
Well, Tim Walz, because he has a vision, and he articulated that vision in plain spoken language, compared to JD, who is a Yale-trained, microphone for Donald Trump, who talked to, I think he was somewhat transparent about some of the things that are in Project 2025. On the issue of abortion, it's clear that Donald Trump and JD Vance are not sticking up for American women and their health, and literally, their lives are at risk. We've seen a woman in Georgia die because Donald Trump broke Roe v. Wade. He claimed that himself. He put in Supreme Court justices with a specific plan to take this fundamental right away from women. And I think it was pretty obvious in the debate tonight, who is going to stand with American women and who doesn't really care about their health care.
Look, I think JD did an excellent job. I mean, he was his authentic self, and he talked directly to the issues. And I think he knows, we need to go out there and talk about what we want to do for mothers, what we want to do for children, how we want to support people who are pregnant and who want to bring their child into this world. And so I think you heard him talk about that in a number of ways there. I think you also heard him mention that when we talked about child care.
About how they're best to protect their own security, and they need the support of their American allies, not Joe Biden, as confused as he is, standing behind them, effectively promising that he's going to punish them if they dare defend their own sovereignty and their own security. Israel is actually very good at this stuff. One of the great things about Israel as an ally, unlike, frankly, a lot of so-called American allies, is they have a viable military, they have a viable intelligence service. They're going to make their own decision about how to protect their sovereignty. I think our role here is to support our friends and also get back to some common sense foreign and economic policies so that we can be strong enough to respond to the next election.